Minecraft 1.19 as well as 1.19.0 are officially out right now. That's right, for Java and Bedrock you can now officially download the Wild update. It's called 1.19.1 on Switch, but we'll leave that to the side for now to talk about the fact that if you want to get these new features on your existing worlds, I wanted to explain how to do that today alongside all of the features in this update according to Mojang. I went through what I considered to be the 69 major features in this update, but I use a slightly different feature counting system where we count each individual item/block. They listed it very differently, and I think it'd be useful to go through exactly what Mojang considers to be the features in this update. So let's go through and explain how to get them, whether on an old or an existing world. With that said, let's go into the first new feature, the Deep Dark. In the depths of the overworld, you'll find one of the scariest biomes in all of Minecraft. I mean, that is technically true. If you want to find this super scary new biome with Skunk Blocks, ancient structures, loot chests, and one single solitary mob, what you need to do is explore caves. You can do this on old or existing worlds as long as you're exploring new chunks that have never been looked at before or been in your simulation distance. If you do that, you'll find the Deep Dark. I think most players who are just playing on a brand new world though will probably find a seed that has a Deep Dark somewhat near spawn because it can be tricky to find otherwise. But if you are having difficulties and you don't want to start a new world, just keep on mining through new chunks and you'll eventually find it as long as you're below Y0. This is the key bit a lot of people forget. You can only find the Deep Dark and ancient cities below Y0. They've also added the Warden in this update. How do you make the Warden spawn? You don't want to find this feature. He's terrifying and there's no good reason to fight him, especially early game. But if you do want the Warden to spawn in, just walk past one of these skulk sensors. Make sure you don't sneak past it because that might give you a chance of surviving, and then the Warden will sniff you out and use vibrations to detect your exact location. Then he might give you this fun little death message, but I digress. The next feature is Skunk Blocks. People are excited for Skunk Blocks. Wait, not people. Redstone users are excited for Skunk Blocks, but there is a whole variety of Skunk Blocks that is the new kind of Deep Dark palette. You might have some fun building with these in creative, but if you want them in survival, you need to go to the Deep Dark with a Silk Touch tool, and you want to play around with it. It is, if you mine them without Silk Touch, all you're going to get is experience, which you might appreciate, but you probably want to play around with wireless redstone, and that requires Silk Touch. Then there is the Recovery Compass and the Echo Shards. The Recovery Compass is the solution for finding the way back to your last location you died, loot chests in ancient cities to discover Echo Shards, and craft one for yourself. This is a tool that we've had lots of fun discussions about whether it's useful, but if you want one, go to the ancient city, find the Echo Shards, craft it around a regular compass, and then put it wherever your respawn location is so that you don't want to have this item in your inventory. This is an item you put near your respawn location because if you die, you can't use your recovery compass to find out where you died because your recovery compass is where you died. Do you see the issue of that? Okay, maybe you don't. Next up here, we got the Mangrove swamp biome. Towering trees, wide roots, small saplings, muddy terrain, and they don't say it, but the most beautiful wood we have so far. If you are looking to find this, what you're going to need to do is explore the overworld until you find a mangrove swamp. They feel like they're everywhere if you're not looking for them, but if you explicitly go for them, you might have some difficulties. I find that, like they're in the same rough areas you'd expect to see swamps. Is that going to help you? Maybe, maybe not. There's also mangrove trees/wood. There are so many variants you can use this wood for. Again, it technically counts for like 15 separate features, but there is a brand new stair, button, slab, fence, door, sign, pressure plate, and you can also craft with the leaves, roots, and small saplings called propagules because they have different saplings to every other tree. Wow, isn't that interesting? Speaking of things that are interesting, Mudblocks also came in this update. They are found in the mangrove swamps. However, unlike the other blocks we mentioned so far, which are all so tricky to find on existing worlds because you need to find new biomes in new chunks, the mud can just be made by using a water bottle on dirt. It is fully renewable. I mean, as renewable as dirt is. Although dirt is basically fully renewable, so you can make a near infinite amount of mud blocks if you have a water bottle, which you can refill over and over again to get the good stuff going. This is an exciting one. I'm looking forward to playing around with this one at least. Also, there is going to be frogs and tadpoles. Frogs feed on small slimes, breathe on land and in water, and lay eggs called frog spawn. The eggs will hatch and turn into tadpoles, making this the first mob that isn't bred from a smaller version of itself. This is funny that this is true, but it technically is. Every other mob that has a baby version is just a tiny version of itself, but not this one. Also, there are 3 different types to discover: temperate frogs, warm frogs, and cold frogs, so getting your hands on all 3 means you'll have to travel through the overworld. They do naturally spawn in swamps, the easiest though, so go to the swamp, grab yourself a frog, breed 2 together, and you got yourself some tadpoles, which will only exist for so long long because they'll grow into frogs, which is, again, interesting. We have a time-limited mob in a weird way. We also have frog lights. Frog lights are, again, once you've found the frogs, they're easy to get. All you've got to do is have your frogs eat a firefly, or a fire cube, which is safe for them. If they were going to eat a firefly, they might die. Eating a ball of magma is very safe, and so you need to take your frog to the nether, or you need to take your magma cubes to the overworld, and you need to have your frog eat them, and they'll poop out these delightful little frog lights. Also, the ally, the winner of the 2021 Minecraft live vote, it's flying into Minecraft, and you can get one of these by finding a brand new, non-existing, a brand new outpost or a woodland mansion. It has to be one that hasn't been loaded up before 1.19, and then you'll have a chance of finding one of those two things in there. I showed a seed a couple of weeks ago, and I'll show it to you again. It is the ideal seed if you just want to explore the new features and not be so limited by where they spawn, but it had something like 40 allies in a single room. It was very, very nuts, and it's just worth keeping in mind. Also, the boat in a chest. Wow, this is such a hard feature to get. Honestly, this is the feature most people are going to be able to play around with the easiest, because you craft a boat, you craft a chest, you combine the two together, and now they are inseparable. You can never get the chest back from the boat, but you've got a boat chest, so what's not to love? We've also got the goat horn, and we've got new music added by Lena Rain and Samuel Aberg, and the Music Disc 5, which can only be found in fragments for the first time ever. And mobile players, if you're on any platform that isn't a console or a PC, you're going to need to download the Minecraft Original Music Pack, or update it if you already have it, available for free from the marketplace. It's the weirdest way that music works on mobile devices, but to keep Minecraft's file size down, they sell for free the music separately. You have to update that pack. There's also 4 brand new achievements. There's a lot more advancements if you're playing Java. This is one of the key differences. Java has 1 trillion advancements, but on Bedrock, we've got 4 achievements. Kill a mob next to a catalyst, have an ally drop a cake and a note block. With our powers combined, have all 3 frog lights in your inventory, and sneak 100, sneaking next to a skulk sensor without triggering it. So if you want to get a start on all of those things, you need to go to the deep dark, you need to get an ally, you need to have your frogs eat the very safe magma cubes, and you need to sneak around in the same deep dark from before. So simple enough. If you just find those 3 things, maybe you could do that easier if you use the seed that we mentioned earlier, then you can get all of the new things. They've also made a lot of vanilla parity changes, so I'm not going to go for all of them, but a lot of these are basically bug fixes, bringing the game slightly more in line with the Java edition. Maybe some of these are a bother to you, like fences and walls not collecting to bells and brewing stands, but for most people, the game should just feel very slightly less buggy than it did before, which is a big improvement. Also, they've officially added Spectator Mode to the base game in experimental gameplay. So if you enable experimental gameplay, you'll now officially be able to get Spectator Mode going, and as we've seen with 1.19.10 and the improvements they're making on Parity there, this is a very promising sign towards adding the missing game modes from Bedrock, and that is something I'm excited for, at least. There's a lot of other changes for marketplace creators, there's other bug fixes, there's technical updates, there's a lot going on with this, but those are the major features found in 1.19.0. If you want to find all of these features on your existing worlds, you are probably going to have to explore for a little bit, because, again, you need to find chunks that you haven't explored already, then the chunks that coincidentally also happen to have a mangrove swamp in them. If that sounds like a lot of pain, but you want to keep your old world and you don't want to start a new one, if you do, wow, is there a great seed that I'll leave linked in the description that I've been mentioning so far in this video. But if you do want to start a new world, I recommend making a copy of your world, then using that to find the nearest mangrove swamp. You can do it in creative if you really want to speed things up, and then use the real copy to just go there. That way you're not loading in unnecessary chunks if you're worried about future updates, because of course they're going to update the overworld more. It seems as though they've broken the seal from 1.7 all the way to 1.13, I think it was. We're talking years and years of Minecraft updates. They refuse to touch overworld generation to avoid breaking old worlds versus new worlds, but I think now they're just embracing that, yeah, overworld generation will change every time we want it to, and so the last, out of the last 5 updates, something like 4 of them have changed overworld generation. So at this point, you just need to be prepared that your overworld will change, and if you want to get new features, you've got to not explore certain parts of it, because deleting chunks or doing anything like that, it's going to be a tricky thing. But still, you're here to hear that 1.19 is out, and I'm here to tell you that it's those are the features inside of it. It's interesting, again, instead of coming to 68 features, by grouping them together, you get like a solid 12 or so. It's not the biggest update, but given that this is done in 6 months, and given that it's now out, and they can now officially start start working on whatever's next, there's some promising things happening here, and at least for the meantime, it's going to be fun to play around with all sorts of things. It's going to be fun to... Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to spend a lot of the day taking on the Warden for weird speedrunning things, and I'm going to try and find out the easiest ways for a standard player to take him down. You always see videos that are like, oh, it's easy to kill the Warden if you just do XYZ thing, which isn't actually easy to do in a normal world. I want to find the easiest way to kill the Warden on a brand new world, just for those of you who have that exact thing in your head, and I'm going to be playing around with that later today. We'll see if that turns into anything, and if not, then tomorrow will be Seed Sunday. Seed Sunday is on a Wednesday some weeks, we don't question it, and that will also be the day that I'm flying back to the UK. So on Thursday, I'm gonna fight through any jet lag. It's gonna be a crazy thing, but I'm gonna be streaming on Thursday, playing around with a lot of this, and also now that we've done the 256-day recap, we'll be able to play around in the Superflat again. So that'll be a lot of fun. I also want to do a lot of survival in my Let's Play world. This is the struggle, right? I've got now 2 long-term worlds. I've got the Superflat and the Let's Play, but then also I want to start a new world to do lots of fun things. This is the challenge of Minecraft updates, but still, it's gonna be a fun time for a lot of people. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Have a good day, because I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.